says, when the enclosure of the commons took place in England, I think that the changing of people's mindsets towards a capitalist one was essentially a forceful assimilation in order to survive. The commons were lands that anyone could use to take their cattle to graze upon, pick berries or herbs, whatever may have grown. Not sure if it would be wild or if people would plant stuff there too. Chop wood for fire, and particularly for women, the commons was an important hold on social space of meeting and working together, helping each other out, etc. The enclosure of the commons privatized that land, removed all the social and economic activity that was a part of the commons, forced those people who were mostly peasants, not meant derogatorily, to survive by making money, or if it that before. With the commons taken away, I think pretty much the only way for most peasants or lower class people to survive was to go and work in the new industrial factories or mines, other industrial labor. In order to make a wage, this wage being now the only way that people could live, I'm not the first to argue that this change of culture was a violent process, as it removed people from the land, though I'm not saying that everything about peasant life is good, of course, but it took away people's ability to be more self sustaining and forced them to work for more hours of the day, doing repetitive, draining, often dangerous forms of labor. That brought them very little fulfillment beyond being paid and just surviving on that payment, but it wouldn't call that fulfilling. And I would argue that them much more oppressed by their new employers. That's kind of the argument that I'm making. I think that capitalism is communism by a different name. Let me read this. It says, I have questions now. I haven't been formally educated in economics at all. How are we or we capitalism and unemployment tied? How did child labor become abolished in the US and in UK and Germany? This cultural shift is really complex. Also, this bit about utopian socialism and Auguste Blanqui is fascinating. I don't think I've encountered Blanky outside of this video. Would Crash Course consider a future course on labor history or history of economic thought course? That would be awesome. John would be a good teacher for many of these. Maybe do another video on capitalism as culture or capitalism as cultural revolution hosted by Mike Rubnett, if interested and doesn't have other projects in mind. Another comment, it says, for those of you who think he was being biased, one of the motifs of this series is going against stereotypes, common beliefs that are wrong. It is almost every video. Most people in America love capitalism and hate socialism. He was simply trying to put them on equal playing fields by addressing the misplaced fear of socialism in a broader sense. I am not talking about whether one of them is better than the other or anything, simply stating that this point of the series is making people more open-minded and addressing false stereotypes, and that is what he seems to be doing in this video. I don't know, man. I think I pissed everybody off with the communism.